Hi guys, my name's Nadine, welcome to my channel and welcome. It is that time of year again, my Victober TBR. I'm always so excited about Victober. I think like a lot of other people on BookTube, it was really probably Victober that sort of galvanised me into action to making my own channel. I know it was an event that I took part in before I was on BookTube, sort of quietly by myself. But yeah, it was the chance to share fully in the experience of Victober that really I think got me wanting to make my own channel. So it's a very, very special event to me, and it always comes at just the perfect time of year. You know, when the nights are sort of closing in, it's cold out, you have that beautiful sort of crispness in the air, and you can curl up in the warmth with a good book and just get lost in another world. It's wonderful. So do excuse my constant sipping. As always, I have a cold. It's like my state of being constantly. But I've been working in schools recently, and so obviously it's incredibly germy places to work. So Victober, if you don't know, is the month-long reading event that takes place during October, where you are to read a piece of Victorian fiction. Any Victorian fiction will do, but if you do like to have challenges, the wonderful hosts of Victober always come up with these really, really interesting prompts. I will link all of their channels down below for you to check out, but let's face it, you've already watched them and you know about Victober, so let's just get on with it. So the first prompt then was to read a Victorian book where religion is a component of the story. So I think you would be hard pushed to find a Victorian book where religion isn't part of the story. I decided to go for Thomas Hardy just because I really, really wanted to, and I was determined to fit it into a prompt wherever anyway. I read Jude the Obscure last year for Victober, and oh, it was wonderful. Crushing, but wonderful. So this year I would like to get to Far From the Madding Crowd. Now, although Thomas Hardy was a skeptic when it came to religion, from what I know, there are references to the Bible throughout this book. But I mean, the church at the time, whether you're a skeptic or not, the church was just such a massive part of life that I think, like I said, you would be hard pushed to find a Victorian novel without references to religion. So I'm going for that. I don't actually know what it's about, but whatever it's about, I'm excited to finally read it. And I've got this lovely edition, I can't wait. Next then is a Victorian book that plays with form in some way. This I found quite difficult because I don't like to know too much about my books before going into them, so I try not to research them a lot. So I was doing a bit of careful Googling. And the only books that I could really think of were ones that I'd read before, obviously because I don't like to research them too much. And I didn't feel like a reread. And nothing was really taking my fancy that I'd seen other people mention. Like they were things that I want to read, but just not right now. So I've made like a little list of books that I want to pick up for later. But yeah, there wasn't any of those that I really, really was in the mood for now. So I thought, oh, I'm going to have to opt out of this one. But then I was just browsing my shelves and I picked this book up and I didn't even know it was Victorian. I got it as part of a set some time ago of Forbidden Classics. But yeah, it was published in 1887 anonymously, and then it was discovered that it was actually written by a prominent London lawyer, and it is the Autobiography of a Flea by Stanislaus de Rhodes. I don't know if that's how you say his name. I say his name. I hope that's right. So this is about a young woman named Bella and her boyfriend Charlie, who decide one moonlit night to consummate their relationship. See, out of wedlock, very, very naughty. But unfortunately the act has been witnessed by a priest, who I think then blackmails them yeah, so he blackmails Bella, enslaving her into a world of sexual subservience. And all of this is told through the eyes of a flea. So yeah, it's a first person narrative, I believe, telling the story that's happening, but from the viewpoint of the flea. So I thought that was pretty unusual, so I'm going for that one. And it's also quite short. I did promise myself this time around that although I was obviously always going to take part in Victober, I would probably just do the group read. And maybe one or two really short things. And then, as always, I've ended up with a massive pile of books because I just get carried away. Next then, read a Victorian work that was originally serialised. Again, loads of these were, so that's easy peasy. So the group read was serialised, so that can count for it. But also I would quite like, I'm doubling up on a few of my prompts here, to read The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. So I think I audiobooked this many years ago and I don't remember anything about it. And so I've always sort of said, oh, I don't really like Wilkie Collins. But seriously, I've never given old Wilkie a chance. So I thought I would like to read The Woman in White. I mean, to say I audiobooked it, I don't actually remember anything about it. So yeah, The Woman in White. So this was serialised, so it counts for that, but also it counts for a prompt later on. So there is that one. Next then, experience Victorian theatre, read, watch or listen to a Victorian play. So I'm going back to Old Faithful here, like so many of us. Oscar Wilde. I haven't decided yet what play I'm going to read. But I will also have a look to see if I can find some to watch. I was thinking about subscribing to National Theatre at Home, which is like sort of Netflix but for theatre. I don't know if they've got stuff on, but probably. They seem to have quite an array of quite a variety of plays. But I think the only play that I've read, well, I've read The Importance of Being Earnest for sure. I think I may have read Lady Windermere's Fan, but I don't remember it well enough to know for sure. So if I might go for that. But there's loads. So yeah, some Oscar Wilde, because you've always got to have a bit of Oscar Wilde in your life. And next then was the prompt to honour some booktubers that we have lost this year. So we've got to read a book by either Wilkie Collins or Arthur Conan Doyle. And Wilkie Collins was particularly loved by Jennifer Brooks. And Alice from Alice and the Giant Bookshelf loved Arthur Conan Doyle. So that was partly the reason why I chose The Woman in White. I may go for some Sherlock Holmes as well if I get a chance. But I'm not sure I will because there's so much that I want to read this autumn. So we will see. And then finally the group read, which was the only one that I was originally committing to until I went crazy, is Mary Elizabeth Braddon's The Doctor's Wife. I was so happy to see this chosen as the group read because I bought it recently. So last year I read another book by Mary Elizabeth Braddon, Lady Audley's Secret, which I really enjoyed. And so I bought a few more books by her. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. And I think this has lots of things in common with Madame Bovary, which I read when I was like 17, and I remember really enjoying it. So I think they're both female characters that are married to boring provincial doctors. They both have an obsession with sort of romantic fiction, and they both start a relationship with somebody of higher status, from what I can gather. So I'm looking forward to seeing what I think of this one. I'm hoping that I love it because, yeah, I've bought a few books by Mary Elizabeth Braddon. So yeah, very excited. And I think that's it. The only other thing I've put to one side that I would quite like to dip into is this, because I fancied reading some Charles Dickens. but nothing too long, and all of his books are massive. But I've got best ghost stories here as well. I read The Christmas Carol this month. So yeah, I know we're ages away from Christmas, but it was because I was teaching it. But yeah, and it just really put me in the mood for some more Dickens. So yeah, I'm going to hopefully dip into that one also. So that is my tentative Victober TBR. Let me know what you're planning on reading, particularly for the playing with form prompt, because I would quite like to add some more things to my wish list on that one. But I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please consider subscribing. It's not something that I say very often. I don't think it's something I've ever said in the past, actually. But I love making these videos. I know I'm not the best booktuber, but I enjoy it, and it's always nice to chat with people and make some more bookish friends. So yeah, that is that. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!